Hi guys, I'm Garitas Doritos, and today I'm going to be taking you guys through some phenomenal 4-4-1-1 second variation custom tactics. The 4-4-1-1 is a very underused formation. I never really come up against anybody using it. Looking at the 4-4-1-1, I felt there must be a way to make this formation usable, and I have found an amazing combination of player instructions and tactics to make this formation really lend to a fast, attacking, passing game. We're not going to stall, we're going to get straight into the tactics and I'll show you how this formation plays. Starting off with the defensive style, we're just going to keep that unbalanced. Defensive width, this is going to be on 35. It's narrow, it's similar to some of my other tactics. I just like that compact defence at the back, but by all means adjust this to your taste. It's not really too important to the formation. Defensive depth, we're going to keep this as modest as 55. I don't like this formation as a high pressing offside trapping formation with the 72 depth. I think it is much better at this more conservative 55 depth where you're just very robust at the back, but you're not too deep to the point where you can't manually press. Build-up play, we're going to keep that unbalanced. Chance creation, as always, direct passing. It is an absolute staple at this point. For the offensive width, now, this is probably the most important segment of this part of the tactics. So the defensive width is as narrow as 35, and this is way more narrow than I would normally go. With this formation, because you've got sort of a line of 4, but then you've got that sort of cam in front, you almost get like a line of 5. And by keeping it really narrow, it's so easy just to work the ball across the box. We have some player instructions as well that really lend to this narrow width as well. So even though by nature it's probably looked at as a wider formation, it works super nicely with this narrower width. I tried it and I haven't gone back. It's awesome. It works really well. Players in the box, we're going to be as offensive as 6 on this. We will have our wing backs on stay back, so we want more people committing forward in the midfield and the attack. Corners and free kicks, personal preference as always. I personally have a tactic I like on 2, so that's what I'm running with. Player instructions. Now, I've gone a little bit heavier on the player instructions here than I have done in other tactics, but it just is what seemed to work for this formation. It did need a little bit more help to kind of get moving the way I like it. Starting with the striker, he's going to be on stay central, getting behind, and stay forward. The most important of these tactics is the getting behind instruction. When you've got a lone striker, particularly like they are in this formation, he really is kind of up top on his own. You don't really want him dawdling. You need him to be occupying the 2 centre-backs and giving them something to think about, whether it be to thread them through with a through ball or just for him to occupy defenders so you can work the ball into space to other players in the wider positions. Moving on into the centre attacking midfielder, they're going to be on stay forward and get into the box for cross. If you don't like the stay forward instruction, I wouldn't have it on either. Don't have it on one and not the other. I would say go with it on both or go with it on neither. I liked the stay forward in this formation, just having a couple of people up top to distribute the ball out to. Like if I long ball it up to my striker, because the cam's up there as well, I was always able to drop it down to him with like a header. So it just worked quite well for a really direct counter. The get into the box to cross instruction on the cam is super important. When you've only got one striker, you want support in the box. You don't want him to be on his own because it's just too easy for the opponent to mark. Literally, if you're working the ball into the box and you've got this get into the box instruction on the cam, they really push into the box as the ball drops to the striker or anyone else in the box. They're literally there like a second striker. Moving on into the left mid and the right midfielder, these are going to be on the same instructions. They're both going to be on comeback on defence. This is just to help being robust at the back. We're not doing a press, so the other alternative to defend is to get numbers back, which is what we're going to be doing in this formation, to have both of those on comeback. Support on crosses, get into the box for cross. This just helps with support as you're working the ball into the box. It just means they're going to be at the back post there to lay the ball off to. It's just to help get people in the box to score more goals. Now, the most important instruction for this formation, which is a little bit different to others, is on the chance creation. We're going to have them on cut inside. This helps them get in between the wing back and the centre back. They will make more inverted runs, and it's really good for kind of dragging those players out of position. Also, with the cut inside instruction, because their runs are going to be more narrow, it naturally means when they receive the ball, they're just going to be closer to the centre attacking midfielder, to the striker, so it's just much easier to lay the ball off to them and work the ball faster. For both of the centre midfielders, these are both going to be on stay back while attacking, cover centre. This is very standard. I won't say much on this. We don't want too many numbers committed forward. We want them to be both of our anchors in the midfield. We've got them on cover centre because we've got the left mid and right mid coming back on defence, so we don't need to cover the wide areas. They're just there to keep the middle of the park as compact as possible. For the left back, and the right back, they're both going to be on stay back while attacking and overlap. Overlap is just so when the space is really open, they can commit into that space and offer attacking support. The stay back while attacking instruction is the most important because we don't want these guys going forward too much. We just want them to be at the back, covering the wide areas and just putting in good tackles and breaking up the play in those wide spaces. For the centre-backs, these are just on default, which is stay back while attacking. And the goalkeeper, I just leave this unbalanced. If you want the comes across his sweeper keeper, by all means, but that's just not my taste, so I just leave this unbalanced. Next, I'll talk a little bit about the sort of players that help make this formation work up to its optimal level. To be honest, there isn't too much to get into with this. It's mainly the front four I'd probably give my 2 cents on. The rest is pretty just standard, what is obvious, what you'll probably already have in your teams. So I'll start with this front four. So with the striker, your striker, it's very important they have ability on the ball, particularly in this formation because you've only got one. So because you've only got one striker, they need to be able to do things on the ball. So that is 5-star skill moves is absolutely preferable and at least a 4-star weak foot. The next thing I would stress with your striker is they need to be a really strong runner. So that could be one of two things. They can either be the lengthy running style, like I have here with Shearer on the Hawk. With a lengthy running style, you naturally have that pulling away animation when you're on the counter attack, and people just bounce off you with the lengthy running style. It's just weird. It's overpowered. So I'd recommend the lengthy running style, or if you've got someone like an Mbappe, like that kind of obvious pick for a striker, someone like an Mbappe, even though he's not lengthy, he just has a really strong running animation where he just pulls away, and once he's kind of got going, he's really hard to catch up. So that's basically what you want to go for your striker, just someone that can really hold their own. Is either lengthy, really strong running animation, ability on the ball, and as always with a striker, outside of the foot shot, finesse shot, all of those shooting traits, they're always going to help get you the most favourable animations on goal. For your centre attacking midfielder, I would definitely say you want somebody high calibre. This definitely needs to be one of the more sort of premium players in your team, if you like. Definitely a 5-star weak foot always helps with the centre attacking midfielder because you never know kind of what foot the ball is going to fall to them on. Being very nimble is very helpful, so high agility and balance, that always helps with the centre attacking midfielder to turn into spaces quicker. Absolutely, you want them to have an amazing final product, particularly with the passing. You know, you really need them to be able to pick that final pass out each and every time because as the cam, they could be responsible for dropping the ball back to the DMs, out to the wide players, through to the striker. Their passing needs to be absolutely on point. And then the last but not least most important position in this team where it's important to get the right kind of players is your left mid and right mid. They need to be max pace with the chem style applied. You want them to have good high attacking work rates. And they just need to be very nimble on the ball. You know, even if someone's really tight to you, the ability to, even if with just the left stick, just sort of turn and get around them because of how responsive they are. That's what you want in these positions. I would always have said skill moves is vital in these positions, but to be honest, since I've used this Brolin card, he's been an exception for me. So long as you can be very snappy on the left stick, if just very responsive with the dribbling, max pace, and still a great ability to shoot on goal as well, that's always going to help. Outside of the foot shot trait on these is always going to help as well because they're often going to be shooting across goal opposed to anything else. They're not going to be in central positions too often, but you will find these on goal a lot because of that cut inside instruction. So again, you really just need an amazing front four in this. Front four with an amazing final product, amazing pace out wide, and just the ability to turn very quickly as well. I'm not going to get into these other positions too much because it's kind of the same old things with these. For your CDMs, they just need to be fast, have really good defensive animations and the ability to tackle. I like the big man, little man setup, so a box-to-box and a dedicated DM, but they are both on stay back, don't forget. So just two really fast, good defensive players. Left back and right back, they just need decent agility and balance, great pace, very good tackling. For your centre backs, again, it's just the typical very fast, lengthy running style. You want them to be as high caliber as possible. So the more obvious the name, the more likely they are to have good defensive animation. So I'm using Desai and Ramos, and they are literally like auto centre backs. They are phenomenal. And as for your goalkeeper, it's gospel at this point. Whoever works. If you guys are wanting a different look for your opponents, a different formation to try out, and you're trying some and just they're not really working, this was an absolute breath of fresh air for me using this formation. It was super fun, and it was not the formation I expected to start having a lot of success with. I tried a few different ones and it just wasn't working. I just couldn't pick the passes. And then with this one, with these set of instructions, it's just so tick-a-tacker. It's amazing, and honestly on the defense it's so compact. You literally have 2 lines of 4 back, and even your midfield line will often sit on the edge of the box. It sounds quite ratty, but you don't just play defensive with it. You still get numbers forward. You're still able to move the ball about really quickly, and I honestly think these tactics suit any level and any style of player. I think they're really balanced, and they're a must try. If you did make it this far in the video, guys, as always, I really appreciate your time. If you did enjoy the video, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and turn your bell on. Take care, guys.